In this video, I will be discussing notes receivable. Notes receivable is where we record promissory notes. A promissory note is a written promise to pay a specified amount of money, usually with interest, either on demand or at a definite future date. This is what a promissory note looks like. First, we have the amount that was borrowed. We call that the principal. The principal is described in dollars and also in words. And who's promising to pay? Julia Brown, the maker. And who is Julia promising to pay? The payee, which is TechCom. So after 90 days, Julia promises to pay Tech Company $1,000 and interest based on 12%. We know that on July 10, TechCom received a $1,000 90-day 12% promissory note as a result of a sale to Julia Brown. Well, when is the note due? It's due in 90 days from July 10. So we have to figure out the actual date when the promissory note is due. And this is how we do it. We start out with the days in July, which is 31, and then subtract the date of the note. In this case, it was July 10, so we put 10 there. So we know that the remaining days in July is 21. The note has been outstanding for 21 days, but we have to keep on going for 90 days. So we're going to add the days in August, which is 31. Then we're going to add the days in September, which is 30. Now, at this point, we're up to 82 days, right? We need to go 8 days more. So our maturity date is October 8th. That will give us our 90 days. I'm going to show you a way to determine how many days are in a given month. Basically, if you land on a knuckle, it's 31 days. If you land between the knuckle, it's 30 days. How many days in May? January, February, March, April, May. It's 31 days. How many days are in November? January, February, March, April, May, June, July, start over, August, September, October, November. 30 days. It's between the knuckle. How about February? January, February, between the knuckle. Well, that one you have to remember that February has 28 or 29 days. When a promissory note is due, principal plus the interest will be paid. You can think of interest as rent on the amount that was borrowed. How do you calculate interest? Principal times rate times time equals interest. Principal of the note is the amount borrowed. The interest rate is always an annual one for 1 year, and the time is expressed in a fraction of the year. In our example, Julia borrowed $1,000. She's being charged 12% interest, and it's a 90-day note, so the fraction of time is 90 divided by 360. And you're thinking, well, Tutra, there's 365 days in a year. Why are you dividing by 360? That's the banker's rule. And bankers have been doing this for quite a long time. And I personally think it's because they're making more money on us. But anyway, when you do your homework, make sure that you divide by 360 and not 365. If you multiply this out, you're going to get $30 of interest. Now, I like to do it in one continuous operation. I'll go $1,000 times 0.12. So I'm converting 12% into a decimal and then multiplying 90 divided by 360 equals. Again, $1,000 times 0.12 times 90 divided by 360, and you should get your $30 of interest. Notes receivable is originally recorded at face value. No interest is reported when the note is accepted. The first example is when you give somebody a loan. So you give them the cash of $5,000, so that's why you're crediting cash, and you accept the note. So you debit notes receivable for $5,000. You can also accept a note for payment of accounts receivable. And it could be that your customer can't pay you, but they're honest and they want to do right by you, so they will offer you a note. And you should take the note in payment of accounts receivable, because when you have a note, the note is enforceable by law. Let's say that we are Wolder Company and we lend Hiley Company $10,000 on June 1 by accepting a 5-month 9% interest note. Now, when the note is due on November 1, we're going to receive cash of $10,375. That represents the principal plus the interest. The principal is $10,000. And so we're going to credit notes receivable because he doesn't owe it anymore. He paid it. He's also going to pay us interest. And the interest is, in this case, is $375. We're crediting interest revenue of $375. How do we get that? Well, the principal is $10,000 times the 9% interest, and the time is 5 out of the 12 months. That's $375. You have to remember that maturity value equals principal plus the interest. It's the end. Happy studying.